Hey guys, I just wanted to pop on really fast and say thank you so much for listening. Our listenership has exploded.
To say the least.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes, it really has been life-changing. Thanks for coming along with us, and we're looking forward to continuing it in the future.
Welcome to Elevated Life, Real Wellness and Transformation Podcast, where we walk alongside the internally driven individual as they transform their life through wellness, movement, mindset, and personal responsibility. If that's you, you're in the right place. Let's jump in.
Today, we are talking about limiting thoughts, where they come from, and why you should protect your vision.
So not only, your limiting thoughts, but also the limiting thoughts of others that they project onto you. And this is not so much a negative thing. A lot of people don't even know that they do that. Mm-hmm. So we're going to kind of unpack that today. So maybe, obviously we always tell you guys to look within, look at yourself first, hold up the mirror, and then through, realizing your own patterns, then you can see that in others, and then it just brings wisdom. Mm-hmm. And this was inspired from a meme that I see all the time that's like, don't tell people your plans because people fuck up everything or they ruin everything. It's really like this negative way of looking at it. Mm-hmm. And so, have you seen that meme? Like, what is your response when you see that meme?
Yeah, it is.
Because it's unsettling to me.
It is. Where I think about it right now, mm-hmm. if I think whatever in the past and saw it, I would just think, yeah, because people are assholes. I'm like, okay. Now there's still that. And the unfortunate thing is like so many memes or jokes or those things that they're rooted in truth. And so there is a lot of truth to that. But what we want to try to have people understand, so not that you're going to change other people's reaction, but so you understand where it's coming from, is where that truth comes from.
Absolutely.
Essentially in those feelings. And there's a few different things. And so I kind of think of this as kind of a delineated podcast or thought. It's the one side, which a lot of ours are, one side of what the hell happened, how did we get here kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And then, okay, now starting to understand that, now what does it look like moving forward? So that's kind of like where they came from.
Right.
Within yourself and other people. And then protecting your vision, and we're going to get into this as well, but it's big and small. So it might be, I'm going back to school. I want to be a doctor at 35 or
right.
whatever. Or it might be, I'm going to run a marathon, or I'm going to garden this year. Or so it's not, when we say vision, it isn't always just this
grandiose
huge
thing.
I'm changing my life.
Totally.
It's really anything that you're going to be doing.
Yeah. So let's unpack this. Limiting thoughts or beliefs that quietly convince you that something is too hard or unrealistic, right? So it often sounds like, people like me don't do that. It's probably not going to work. What if I fail? I'm too old, too late. This is just how it is, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least that's, what are some other things that can bring in those limiting thoughts? You can't do that. That's how it's projected onto others. So it's not always the I statement, right? It's the you statement as well.
I think, yes, I agree with that, but I think you could boil that down still into the I statement.
Oh, for sure.
So ultimately it ends up being an I statement, but that could be or not could be, oftentimes, as we'll get into, it's coming from an outside source.
Yeah.
How often do we...
Oh.
Whoa, hey.
Okay, sorry.
Microphone.
Let's just talk about this for a minute, okay? Starting the podcast is the funniest shit ever because the sound check and the sound everything with Clint is just like, okay.
Believe it or not, we do
fixed?
sound checks.
All right. I'm
Hold,
gonna
please.
fix this.
Jonah can keep filibustering. I'm going to go try to fix it.
I think it's okay.
You got it?
Yeah. So I just found out, everyone, that when I sit back is when it starts to sound really bad. So I've been told by the boss that I am to sit forward the entire time. So anyway.
Jonah has a lot of inner monologue. That's where she was told by the boss.
All right. So let's get back to what we were talking about. Is this going to fall again? Now I'm a little nervous. Okay. Let's talk about where limiting thoughts actually come from.
So one thing I was going to say before that, just when you think about, life and what we deal with in personal training and in the other things that we do, how often do we hear this? Even from the fascinating thing for me is from people that are, however you want to define success, or, they're put together, or they're whatever those good qualities are that we think about with people. And then so they're doing great things with a lot of different things, and then all of a sudden something comes up and like, I can't do that.
Oh yeah.
That's not who I am. I'm not, my family doesn't do those things, or I don't, you know what I mean?
I do. I mean, the I can't. Any I can't is a limiting thought.
Yeah.
Because truth be told, you can do anything you put your heart to. Anything.
So I think it's just the reason I make that point is to really fully understand yes, there are people that have limiting thoughts just in general, but the vast majority of time it's going to be with specific things or with, specific situations or whatever. So it's really important to key into that you might be a person that typically doesn't have limiting thoughts, so you feel like, oh no, that's not me, because I jump into things and I go for it, and I don't feel like that, except for this one area.
Oh, totally. I mean, can we just be honest? We all have limiting thoughts.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the facts. It's just being able to identify it, where it comes from, get to the root, and work through that. So let's talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move into where do these things come from?
We've got 4 of them listed here, and they're pretty broad. They're certainly not all-encompassing, but I think they touch on the major things. The first one, family patterns.
Yeah.
This is a huge one. I'm probably going to say that about all 4 of them.
Yeah.
But it's the learned behavior I guess I would say limiting thoughts are a negative in general. And so that learned behavior, both positive and negative, it's fascinating when you start to see when you're in an area or just know people where generations or you can see generations, and it's almost instantaneous. Like, why is that family again successful, however you want to measure success? It's a goofy word, but for this podcast, whatever. Or why does this family struggle so much generationally? And there's certainly a lot of factors, but limiting thoughts are one of those that's passed down.
And it's mostly about survival, right? So it's, again, things that have been passed down financially, avoiding risk, those beliefs, because we've talked about how your central nervous system is shaped the first 12 years of your life. All of that is passed down, right? And I don't want to toss all the parents out with, the bathwater, whatever that is. But you know what I mean? It's just passed down. So if people around you are struggling financially all the time, then you naturally are going to be like, oh, I can't do that risky thing. I can't do that risky thing. And that's just, financially. And the other thing is, if you live in an area where the collective is limited, and you find this in poor communities, you just do, then the collective vibration is limiting. It absolutely is.
Yeah, which brings us to cultural conditioning, exactly what you're talking about.
Hey, quick pause. If this episode is hitting you and you're ready for real tools, here's what we built.
Head on over to cjellevatedlife.com pick up the rebuilt method for men
Whoa.
or the rebuilt method for women, just $67 each. We also created the Parasite Detox Blueprint at $37. And this is actually the exact protocol we use ourselves.
And while you're there, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get the weekly action steps and new tools we've tested ourselves. Let's get back to the episode.
Just that's not what we do. That's
No.
not what we do as our bloodline. That's not what we do as citizens of this area.
Yeah.
It's important to note too on this, it doesn't have to be verbalized.
No.
Because there's certainly some situations, whether we're talking about family or community, where it is verbalized.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're poor.
Yeah.
That's what I
You're
mean.
just
In not
speaking
so many
word
words,
curses
it's-
over you. Anytime
right.
you tell yourself you're poor or you can't afford, I want you people to know that you're word cursing yourself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're speaking lack over your entire body and your bloodline.
And we hear that a lot in the community that we live now. We're just an impoverished rural community, which yes we are, but then that translates instantly into so we can't do anything.
Yeah. And that's honestly what it is, and people walk it out. Right? They walk out what has been spoken
Yeah.
over the population.
But the other side of that is it doesn't have to be verbalized. So
Yeah.
it can just be your behavior. If again, I mean, finances is a really easy one to
Sure.
everybody kind of grasp it. It's certainly not just finances. We're talking
No.
about every aspect of life. But if and you hear stories about this, and this may really connect with some of you, where your parents had money and not whatever, but they were comfortable, everything was fine, but it was always, oh, we can't afford that, and not even like saying it, but just living very
Yeah.
not frugally but cheap.
Yeah.
living in with that mindset of the limiting thoughts. We might not have this money anymore, so we can't do anything with it. We're not going to enjoy anything because, and it might not be overtly spoken, but that behavior is the same thing. Like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to live. I'm supposed to be scared of everything being gone tomorrow and
Yeah.
and
Scarcity.
not live life. Yeah. So the scarcity part is very interwoven with limiting thoughts.
For sure. And energetically, that energy, that vibration is passed down to you. You're used to living in that vibration, right? And so anything outside of that is unsafe. So you're constantly choosing security over possibility, like you've just boxed yourself in. So the other thing would be past experiences.
number 3
And
on
this
that.
is something that I battle with. I have to really unpack things. So, anytime you've had failures, which every human has, or rejection or embarrassment, it creates these mental rules in your mind that is like, okay, don't try it again. Don't touch that. That's a hot stove, right? Because there's a lot of emotion when there's a failure in something. And so that's another way that
And this one's so tough because it really is, of the 4, it's the one that's most personal, I guess, most ingrained, because it's your experiences.
Yeah.
The other things that we're talking about are things put on you. Failure in past experiences or bad circumstances in past experiences, that's you.
Yeah.
Like,
that's 100% ownership
Yeah,
right there. It's
yeah.
like, okay, I have these limiting beliefs because of my parents, but really, this is the one that I struggle with the most.
I think this is probably the one that most people, or a lot of people, struggle with.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly difficult to move past,
Yes.
because you, instead of being able to say, well, my fucked up family put this shit on me and I can just, get rid of that. It's like, oh no, I put this on me.
Totally. And,
So-
unpacking that, we talk about dealing with your shit. This is part of dealing with your shit, real life. Like, okay, yes, I made a really shitty decision here, but I learned through it. Were you able to learn through that experience? Okay, then that's a blessing. And then you're wiser. Sorry, I'm not trying to touch the microphone. Poor Clint's like, stop it. Anyway, you're wiser and you can take those things to your next experience, right? Without fear. That's where it gets, tough. So anyway.
And that's a good transition into the fourth big broad area where limiting thoughts come from: other people's fears.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this one is like I said, I was going to say they're all huge, but this is, and if you go back to a recent podcast we did, this one really centers around projection.
Projection and also unsolicited advice.
Yeah.
It does. Podcasts. And also it comes from the meme that I, talked about at the beginning.
Exactly.
And this is, you have got to be careful with who you share your plans with.
Yeah. So let's move into that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, here's what I want to say at the beginning of this. Whatever your idea is, right? Clint mentioned a bunch. I want to go back to college. I want to get fit. I want to open up a coffee shop. I don't even care.
Moving to Europe.
Yeah. I want you to picture that is like being a seedling. Okay. And I don't know if you've ever grown anything, but those seedlings are precious and you have to nurture them and grow them so that they can become viable and a plant and fruit. So when you have this idea, a lot of times we get really excited and we want to share with people. And then what comes in is, that sounds risky. You better have a backup plan. That's expensive. How are you going to afford that? Whatever. Right? I mean, we can insert all of the things. And energetically, what happens is they are speaking over that seedling and killing it. Literally. Like, just, who's the doctor that did the water? We talk about this all the time. Speaking over the water. Emma and I did a project, a homeschool project when she was like in 5th grade or 6th grade on that. And speaking death over your precious seedling. That's what they're doing. And they don't mean to. This is, it's not that people are being assholes. They're just unsolicited advice, projection, and the limiting thoughts that we just talked about. That's where all of that is coming from.
This is one with that last part. I think is such a critical part. I think a lot about being a parent with this, and I genuinely think people a lot of times, not always, some people are just assholes. And they just like, no, you're gonna screw it up and whatever. But a lot of people, especially the people that are close to you, that you get the most excited about, I've got this thing, I'm gonna do it, I'm fired up for it. And you go and tell a really good friend or a sibling or whatever that might be, and they come back with all those things. It really is, they're trying, generally, sometimes, they're trying to protect you. Just like with being a parent, Jonna and I talk all the time about, as you're raising kids at all the different levels, it's like, okay, what is the line of allowing a kid to make their own mistake and inserting yourself and saying, hey, that's not a good idea. You shouldn't try this because here's what's going to happen. It's a balancing act for sure. And I think a lot of the projection that comes from limiting thoughts is based in that idea of, I did have a bad experience doing this, or, I know people that have, or whatever that might be. And so I'm trying to protect you.
Yeah, and I totally disagree with you on that, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Because if someone has it in their heart to do a thing, just because when you did it, it didn't work out, doesn't mean that is actually going to be their experience. So I understand the protection part of it, but why are you trying to protect someone else? I
Well,
guess with their dream.
Okay.
So did I understand that wrong?
No, I think
Okay.
you understood it perfectly, but this is a great example, a little behind the scenes talk
Of the
here.
divine masculine and the divine feminine?
No,
Oh,
not that. Just the way that we communicate.
yeah.
Because what I was talking about, or let me go with what you're talking about, I
Okay.
think. You're coming at it from someone who has elevated, who's already done some of that work, has enough self-awareness to understand exactly what you said. I'm coming at it from the average person
Okay,
that
got
hasn't
it.
made that connection yet.
Sure.
That genuinely is trying to say, I'm trying to protect you.
Yeah.
But hasn't worked through the fact that, oh no, that's like the worst thing I could do for you right now.
Yeah.
Because it is just shitting on your dreams. It's not protecting you from anything. If anything, it's just, diminishing what I'm going to do anyway.
Right. Okay. Thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying. And I would say that, parenting, right? That you brought that up. I have learned, in fact, Clint and I had a conversation last week. We were talking about parenting, and I was like, I have no parenting advice. What I've learned after having 5 kids who are very different, I have zero advice. I have nothing to say because every kid is different, every situation is different, and I have chosen now as a parent of adult children that my kids need to live their lives the way they see fit in the moment, and it's either a lesson or not, right? Or it's something, but they have to learn lessons. And so with the parenting aspect of this, we have coddled our children so much, and we're also so embarrassed if they make a mistake, when really, like, look at yourself, human. You have made mistakes. Sorry. No one gets out of this place without making a shit ton.
Right.
And so anyway, yeah. Let's go back. Did I just say shit without even meaning to?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I did.
Hey friends, if you're getting something out of this, connect with us on our social media platforms. We're at CJ Elevated Life _ on Instagram and TikTok, and CJ Elevated Life on Facebook and X. We're answering DMs, sharing daily content, and building community with people ready for real transformation. For now, hit subscribe wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We drop 2 new episodes every week. And if this episode resonates, share it. That's how we reach more people who are ready for change. You can also find everything at cjelevatedlife.com. All right, let's keep going.
Let's go
Anyway.
back to
Let's go back to protecting your vision, right? And how important that is. And it's hard. This is really hard for me. Okay, I'm going to be super honest, because when I get an idea, I want to speak it into existence. I do. I want to speak it. I want to feel it. I want to do all the things. And last year, I had this idea and I shared it quickly, and it was just met with exactly all these things. You can't do that. Please don't do that. Blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. And I just thought it was such a good lesson. And even those people that you love and, are super lovely, again, they're going to project that limiting belief. So wait until your seedling has momentum, right? More clarity. And it teaches patience and pondering and prayer and all of those things. You have this idea in your heart for a reason. It was given to you for a reason. Don't let the energy of other people, knowingly or not, speak any kind of, I'm sorry, I keep sitting back.
you're good.
Any kind of negativity over that dream. And also, humans, be aware and don't be the person who is killing someone else's garden. Don't do that. It's shitty. If you have those thoughts, push them aside, shut your mouth. If someone wants to sail the world, for a year and they don't know how they're doing it, big deal. It's okay to hope and dream. Like, let them have those things. Don't shit on other people's party.
So, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. That being said, if we go back to the seedling analogy, a seedling doesn't grow in a vacuum. It does need support. It needs sun, it needs water, it needs, whatever it needs. So that you can think about it the same thing with your vision. It's not going to grow in a vacuum necessarily. There is a ton of value in having the right people to be able to share it with.
For sure.
And there's no real, like, it's one of those things that you just have to know.
Yep.
And part
It's
of
an
that
intuition.
is doing the work.
Yep.
Got to say that 50 times a podcast.
And leveling up your circle. I mean, we've
Yeah.
said that a million times. If you're surrounded by people who are shitting on you all the time, don't tell them about your dreams.
Yeah. But you are looking for people who potentially, hopefully, have done not necessarily the same things, but done things.
Yeah.
I had a dream, I had a vision, and I just fucking went for it.
Yep.
And, there were some shitty things and there were some amazing things.
Yeah.
And, and so they can be supportive of you. I was trying to think through an analogy, because that's what I do. When you're talking about, like, if you want to go sail around the world, you're going to have the people. So, okay, let me take a step back. I didn't set this up right. Thinking about being that person that doesn't shit on somebody's dreams. Somebody comes to you and they say, I want to sail around the world. And you're like, well, I sailed a bunch, The first thing you can do is like, that sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Because there are good times, bad times, whatever. Like, good for you. And then we're just playing this conversation out. So let me know if it gets confusing. And then, so you're the one that wants to sail around the world. I'm the one that's already done it. I've got all these thoughts, whatever. Keeping them all at bay right now. Didn't even mean to say at bay with the sailing. But anyway, then maybe Jonas says, well, what do you think about that? So then my next response can just be something like, it's an adventure.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it, but still being positive and general, where you have the opportunity to start sharing your actual experiences with people. And this is obviously just my opinion. This is what I appreciate about people. Is then if the next step, John, is like, well, can you talk to me about how you actually figured out which boat to, what you wanted to be on? Okay, now we're talking specifics.
Bingo.
Now
I'm
I
going
can
to jump
get
in
into,
because you asked a question or I asked a question. Whatever role we're playing in this fake thing, when someone asks you a question, what do you think about what kind of sail I should use for this? What's the best quality sail? Then you can say, well, mine ripped 6 times and I bought the shitty one. So the smartest thing to do is buy this brand.
This is what I would do if I had it to do
I know
over
we're walking
again.
you guys through just like, what is this nauseating thing happening here? But, if someone's asking a question about their hopes and dreams, okay, cool answer. Still stay positive. Like, honestly, it is not your job to shit on someone else's, life. It just isn't. And even if it sounds completely insane, shush. Learn to shut your mouth. You don't have to have an opinion and some kind of I know everything attitude when someone is trying to share with you. It just is, it's a huge tell for me.
Even if you've done the same thing. Because I know that can drive me crazy sometimes when I'm excited about, getting ready to do something and I tell somebody and their first response is, oh yeah, I did that.
Oh, right.
Okay,
And
I'm done talking to you now.
Yeah,
now
and
you've shown, maybe it's not exactly limiting beliefs, but it's gonna get there.
yeah, for sure. Yep. So anyway, all this is to say is when you have this seed of a dream, nurture it on your own until it starts to sprout and you've identified the people in your life that will help you water your dream, and then be mindful of other people's dreams, whatever that is, not to be the one that is, the deer in the early garden that's just ripping apart your shit.
Yeah.
Okay? Just be mindful of that and know that it doesn't come from a place of malice most of the time. It comes from a place of how they developed their relationship with their own beliefs, whether it's past experience, whether it's passed down, whatever that looks like. So that's where love and compassion comes in, because they haven't shown the light on that side of their shadow work yet.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's very well put. That's a great summary of everything that we just talked about.
Yeah. All right. So go out there, live your hopes and dreams, and don't tell anyone. Oh, it's funny. I hope you found value in this podcast. If you did, like, share, subscribe, do all the things.
Reach out.
Yeah,
leave comments, email us.
Yeah, I'm loving the conversations that I'm having with people that are reaching out to us. It's pretty funny. And I love the genuine feedback. Like, hey, Johnny, you keep cutting Clint off. Yes, yes. I know, and I'm trying, and I know what that's from. Maybe I just haven't shown that light on the shadow yet. I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it. All right, you guys, have a great day.
And we'll talk to you soon.